And for that, they bring police. This is the same reason why.
Coalition front leaders. And this is not new. This is not the first person that they have called. They've been calling people and they'll continue calling people. But because during the campaign, they had created an impression that we have stolen. This is 8 months down the line. We are asking them, where have we stolen? They went to Honorable Mkupa's farm, they've been searching, they've been digging, they think that we have buried money. Where can we bury the money? So it is up to them now to prove to the Zambian people that we have stolen. Up to now, we are waiting for it. So this intimidation and harassment, it will not help them. We have to fix the economy. The price of meal, we left it at 115, it's at 108. The dollar, we left it at 16, it's now running to 18. The fertilizer, we left it at 900, it's 1,200. So what are they telling us? They have to fix the economy. And I can tell you, they don't have the agenda. The agenda they have is to fix the PF leaders.
Patriotic Front PF acting president Given Lubinda has challenged government through the investigative wings to thoroughly do their works in accordance with the law, rather openly brandishing them as thieves. Mr. Lubinda says the only way the notion of corruption against him and other members of the PF will come to an end is by ensuring all those suspected of corruption are quickly arrested and taken to court so that they can prove their innocence. He says it is unfortunate people, more especially those in government, are always labeling PF leaders of being corrupt without any evidence. Meanwhile, Mr. Lubinda says he is now happy he has been formally arrested, which gives him an opportunity to go and defend himself in court.
In Zambia, have dollars in your account. How many? Is being in possession of dollars in your account a crime? So we'll have to go and prove this in court. And I'm happy that it has happened because all the time I was walking the streets of Lusaka, just thinking people are thinking I'm a thief. Finally, they have given me an opportunity to go and prove in court that I'm clean. This is a good opportunity for me. And I've said before, friends of mine in the Patriotic Front, for them to come for me, you should know that no one is safe. All of us in the Patriotic Front, be ready, my brothers and sisters. Be ready. And when they call you to the police, please volunteer. Go quickly so that we can prove ourselves innocent. So that quickly, they have nothing else to talk about. Instead of fixing drugs in hospitals, they are calling us thieves. They have no drugs in the hospitals and saying they are not drugs because PF stole. How can that be? We left drugs in hospitals. Now they even use the expired drugs they gave them to people, and now they don't even have any Panadol whatsoever in all these hospitals. What kind of government? They are spending time sending police here. Instead of those policemen going to guard the city market, going to guard places where criminals are, they are sending police officers to come and guard me. Am I a fugitive? Am I a treason suspect? I'm only being suspected of having money in my account. That's all. The fact that I have money in my account has become a crime. And for that they bring police. This is the same reason why they're lining up police every day. Female police officers without any sanitation, they are lining up the streets to do what? To protect one individual. And yet that person is supposed to be living in State House. He has refused to live in State House. He's exposing our female police officers to unsanitary conditions, all in the name of him saying State House is not too good for him. And yet he was campaigning to go to State House. All the other presidents, 6 presidents before him, were willing to occupy State House except him. I can assure him that he too, his day is coming. He shall not be president of Zambia forever. Even if he attempts to amend the constitution to make himself life president of the country, like he made himself life president of the UPNG, we shall not allow him. And one day we shall remind him of Mpanda. Thank you.
And UPND cadres stormed the SEC to disperse PF women who are showing solidarity to Mr. Lubinda, who is appearing before SEC. Meanwhile, PF Secretary General Nixon Chilangwa says Zambians are shocked and outraged to see the amount of money some UPND ministers are spending on alcohol and entertainment amid severe poverty and escalating high cost of living. Mr. Chilangwa says the revelations on social media of two bills amounting to 84,672 kwacha and the other amounting to 49,295 kwacha, which non-UPND ministers spent on food and alcohol in one night, has angered Zambians. He says many are wondering where the said cabinet ministers, who have only been in office for less than 8 months, and who until today had no wealth to talk about, are getting some kind of colossal sums of money to splash at nightclubs when the majority of Zambians cannot even afford a bag of mealie meal or a bottle of cooking oil. Mr. Chilangwa has questioned why the said ministers indulging in excessive drinking and pleasure, with the majority of Zambians are wallowing in abject poverty, while others are dying of stress and high blood pressure induced by economic hardships caused by the UPND's failure to manage the economy. He adds that there are the same people who condemned individuals from PF who were seen dishing out money to help the vulnerable, but today they are the very people splashing hundreds of thousands of kwachas on alcohol and exotic dishes. Meanwhile, Mr. Chilangwa says the Home Affairs Minister Jack Mwimbu has unfairly accused police of being thieves when the real thieves are his colleagues in UPND who are now flashing huge sums of money in bars and nightclubs. He has challenged President Hakainde Hichilema to discipline his rank and foul and put a stop the reckless and corrupt behavior alleged being exhibited by his own officials in government before they mortgage the entire treasury on alcohol, entertainment, and other excesses. This is contained in a statement issued to Muvi TV News. The reality of the removal of fuel subsidy has started to be felt by the many Zambians, especially those in the private sector, with a minimum wage of less than 1,500 kwacha per month. Economic Liberation Association Austin Bewa Media Director says most private sector workers, domestic and farm workers will be subjected to abject poverty because all commodity prices have increased while some have doubled. Mr. Mbewe has therefore called on government to do likewise with the other sectors like it has done with the civil servants who receive the salary increment.
As of last year, the minimum wages for domestic workers, for farm workers, and the comrades who are working in industries was at 1.5. And as a civil society organization, we are calling the government to increase the minimum wage from 1.5 to 3.5. Reason being is that the government has removed the fuel subsidy, and which that has caused umoyo kuenda pa mwamba vintu kadula, and we are requesting the government to increase the wage for the said comrade in the said fields, because we need the government, we need the salaries to balance up with the cost of living, because vintu kadula and the salaries are down, and the government has not been fair when it comes to the domestic workers and farm workers and the other guys who are working into the industries. They have only increased the minimum wages for the civil servant, and we are calling upon them to increase the minimum wage for other workers like they have done with the civil servant. So because umoyo, like I've said, waenda pamwamba, reason being what's fuel subsidy, and as you know, fuel, it plays a key role in our economy. So that's what we propose to the government of the day. Because when you go, when the market to check on the things which are needed for, so at least if they can just bring back the subsidy on the fuel, not tioneka kuti umoyo chitebwanji ukaleko moshe because umoyo uvuta abantu because of what they have removed the subsidy without also looking on the other side of increasing the wages of the domestic workers, the farm workers, and those who work in the industries.
Do you think government consulted stakeholders?
It didn't, because if it did, they could have considered, increasing the wages for the said comrade in the particular fields which of.
You are still watching Muvi TV's Primetime News. We take a break on that note. Stay tuned.
They'll play a high press to force the mistakes.
They'll dominate the aerial ball. They too tall. We will handle the pressure and smash them on the break.
The number 9 has scored in their last 5 games.
The passing will be quick, decisive, precisely. There will be drama in the dying minutes. This match will mean more than 3 points.
They will have the home ground advantage. This is why I bet.
This is why I bet. This is why I bet. Betway.
So here's how to pay using Airtel Money. Ensure your decoder is turned on and tuned to channel 1. Dial *778#, then select the option that says Make Payment. Select Pay TV, then select Muvi TV. Enter the 12-card number, then enter the amount you wish to pay. Enter the Muvi TV account number, omitting the dash before the last digit. Then select the amount you wish to pay.
For inquiries, call customer care on 0764 250055 or 0764 250052 or 0978 732 411 or 0978 732 412.
Fairview University College is enrolling students for the January-April 2022 intake in the following: School of Education, Bachelor of Education in Early Childhood Education, Bachelor of Education in Primary Education, Bachelor of Education in Secondary Education, Bachelor of Education in Special Education, Diploma in Early Childhood Education, Diploma in Primary Education, Diploma in Secondary Education, Diploma in Special Education, Certificate in Early Childhood Education, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, Diploma in Public Relations, School of Hotel and Tourism, Diploma in Food and Production, Diploma in Front Office, Diploma in Food and Beverages Management, Diploma in Hospitality and Events Management, and Diploma in Sales and Marketing. For more information, visit us at Regent College along Kwazi Road or the North Mid Campus at plot number 11 Luamba Road, Lusaka, or call us on 0955 787114 or 0966 787114 or 0977 787114. Fairview University College. We aim at excellence.
One expert. Anyone can get lucky.
Welcome back. In other news, Zambia Tax Platform Coordinator Ibrahim Kamara says that closing the fiscal deficit requires a mix of policies aimed at effectively managing the country's public debt as well as improving resources mobilization through non-financing means. Mr. Kamara adds it is important government remains committed to improving debt management in the country. He further stated there is also a need to strengthen the law around debt contraction and enforce that around the management of public resources, adding that government must stay committed to implementing properly the 2018 Public Finance Management Act as well as amend the Loans and Guarantees Act to enhance oversight on borrowing and deal with political overrides. He says restructuring the current debt will help ease the fiscal space. He adds renegotiating loans such as those owed to China and refinancing Eurobond is critical towards fiscal stability. Mr. Kamanga notes.
The size of the annual national budget has continued to expand in Zambia. With a limited resource base, this has widened the fiscal deficit and has prompted government to increase on its borrowing. This has further put pressure on the national budget when it comes to government servicing its debts. To understand how we can sort out this challenge, it is important to also just have a reflection on the factors that are in fact contributing to this continued challenge. The country has increased on borrowing over the years. If you look at the period 2011 to 2021, external public sector debt has increased from $2 billion to about $14.7. So this was all accrued in a period of 10 years. So each year under the national budget, there is an amount which is allocated towards debt servicing. So when the size of the national budget is expanding, in fact, this is also on account of increased interest payments. But further, to understand how we can sort out this challenge, it is also important just to understand that the resource base that the country is able to generate, especially through taxation, plays an important role when it comes to meeting the expenditure needs under the national budget. Hence, to address this challenge, there will be need for the government, through the Minister of Finance, of course, to come up with policies that will enhance domestic resource mobilization through taxes. There are a number of things that government can consider. Of course, the double taxation agreements themselves, we believe, have sometimes not offered that, provided the purpose for which they were in fact signed. So it could be very important that government needs to renegotiate or review the double taxation agreements. Furthermore, of course, there will be needs to address the issue of tax incentives. Over the years, we have learned that some of these incentives have not worked to the benefit of the country. So it will be very important just to have a review of these double taxation agreements as well as the tax incentives. Overall, closing up the fiscal deficit requires managing the debt situation in the country as well as increasing on resource mobilization. Managing the debt situation will call for a number of policies, mixture of policies, debt restructuring, shifting to concessional borrowing, which would put or ease the pressure on the national budget.
Bank of Zambia Governor Dani Karialia has called for strong partnership between stakeholders in the banking sector so as to contribute to the financial inclusion agenda through development of appropriate services. Dr. Kadialia says there is a need for players in the financial sector to collaborate and support the economic growth of the country while maintaining stability in the sector. He observed with the stable growth that the sector has registered so far, with financial inclusion level increasing from 59.3% in 2015 to 69.4% in 2020. He attributed the increase to the use of technology and various innovations such as mobile channels in the sector as some of the measures that have led to the growth in the access to financial services by the general citizenry. Census reports that Dr. Kalialia was speaking in Lusaka during the official launch of the 2022 Financial Literacy Week, where he stated that the growth in the digital platforms has further enhanced the country's revenue collection and economic development. He says technology and innovation in the financial sector has played a major role in raising the level of financial inclusion in the country over the last 5 years. According to the Fiscal 2020 survey, while overall financial inclusion increased from 59.3 to 69.4%, Dr. Kadialia stated in the last 10 years, the central bank working with its stakeholders with the Financial Literacy Week have been creating awareness among children on the need to acquire knowledge and skills about personal financial management. Meanwhile, Dr. Kalialia regretted that while the impact of COVID-19 on global economic growth is subsiding, the pandemic is still a risk for the future economic growth and consequently financial inclusion. And the Bankers Association of Zambia has a pledge to supplement government's efforts in delivering the right financial literacy messages and ensure that the right products and services are provided to the children. Association Chairperson Zingamelu observed that the provision of banking, insurance and investment has rapidly transformed and is following the changing needs and expectations of the present and future generations. Ms. Melu says that this is why, in order to accelerate the financial inclusion levels, the banking sector has over the years positively responded to calls for pure savings account for underserved and unserved populations. She says the key strategic objectives of the Bankers Association of Zambia are to increase the Bankers Association of Zambia are to increase financial literacy levels as well as to develop innovative and technologically driven payment channels to ensure a financially included population in the country. He adds wealth creation is a lifetime process, hence the need to make financial education activities and targets make them in such a way that will benefit youth. She further expressed concern with the rise in cyber attacks where unsuspected customers are swindled using different electronic transactions such as mobile money or e-wallets. Ms. Melu says this problem can only be resolved through collaborative efforts by all service providers to maintain the trust and confidence which customers have. Minister of Labour and Social Security Brenda Tambatamba says her office is still waiting for a report regarding the issue of Juba Transport, where it is alleged that the company abandoned the remains of one of its employees in a foreign country. Mrs. Tambatamba was preliminary information from both the drivers and the company are conflicting. Therefore, her office is waiting for a more detailed report. She says it is only after the finds of the report that her office will take appropriate action.
Minister of Labour and Social Security, Brenda Tambatamba, says her office is still waiting for a report regarding the issue of Juba Transport, where it is alleged that the company abandoned the remains of one of its employees in a foreign country. Tambatamba says preliminary information from both the drivers and the company are conflicting, therefore her office is waiting for a detailed report.
The Zambia Federation of Employers have got something to do with it. Our union have got something to do with it, and the government too. So I will get back to you after we get a report of exactly what happened, because we are getting conflicting stories between the employees and the employer. An employer has a responsibility. The gentleman, as we get it, who died, the gentleman, the worker who died, the driver who died, was on duty.
She says it is only after the findings of the report that her office will take appropriate action. Tambatamba adds that it is her ministry's duty to ensure that everything that is owed to the family by the company is paid.
We are investigating as a ministry to find out exactly what measures the employer took as soon as they received a report about the demise of their employee, so that where there's a lapse, they will be able to be guided appropriately. We will ensure that we get to the bottom of it and ensure that if there's any lapses, the employer addresses this. And we want to also ensure that going forward also, the care of the family, what is owing to the family of this deceased employee, is whatever is due to them is delivered with timeliness, because they've already suffered something irretrievable. They have suffered consequences, of course, of grief or loss of their member of the family. They have suffered irreparable damage to their family by the passing on of a breadwinner of their family. So it is our duty within our social partnership, together with the employer, who is our partner, to do the right thing for this employee. So,
on 17th March 2022, Zambian truck drivers took it upon themselves to mobilize funds and retrieve the remains of their colleague, whose body was decomposing in a Mozambican mortuary as his employers, Juba Transport, had allegedly abandoned him. Danny Silwimba was hit by an oncoming Mozambican vehicle as he was crossing the road shortly after processing documents at a checkpoint in Gore district. The company sent officers to immediately retrieve the truck that Mr. Silwimba was driving, leaving his body, which was only brought back by his fellow truck drivers the following week. However, Juba Transport has denied abandoning its employee, Mr. Silwimba. Virginia Chilongo, Muvi TV News, Lusaka.
We'll take a break on that note. Still to come as more news items. Do not go away.
Istana ya Afrika ya kubende chalo akamwana kanono nomsepela kwikala chapamo kuribe kumunzi kuribe mutauni kumadero aliyenze afunika.
The Zambia Statistics Agency will this year conduct the census across the country. The census aims to count people in households, rural and urban, hospitals, military, police and correctional facilities. This numbering will extend to hotels, farms, as well as high-density areas with different families sharing a house and those in transitory locations. Every person in the country matters and should be counted because the census will benefit all, from migrants, refugees and street children, homeless people, the young and the old people, as well as persons with disabilities. Everyone counts. This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency.
So here's how to pay using Airtel Money. Ensure your decoder is turned on and tuned to channel 1. Dial *778#, then select the option that says Make Payment. Select Pay TV, then select Muvi TV. Enter the 12-digit smart card number, then enter the amount you wish to pay. Enter the Muvi TV account number, omitting the dash before the last digit. Then select the amount you wish to pay.
For inquiries, call customer care on 0764 250055 or 0764 250052 or 0978 732 411 or 0978 732 412.
Fairview University College is enrolling students for the January-April 2022 intake in the following: School of Education, Bachelor of Education in Early Childhood Education, Bachelor of Education in Primary Education, Bachelor of Education in Secondary Education, Bachelor of Education in Special Education, Diploma in Early Childhood Education, Diploma in Primary Education, Diploma in Secondary Education, Diploma in Special Education, Certificate Certificate in Early Childhood Education, School of Humanities and Social Sciences. Diploma in Public Relations, School of Hotel and Tourism. Diploma in Food and Production. Diploma in Front Office. Diploma in Food and Beverages Management. Diploma in Hospitality and Events Management. And Diploma in Sales and Marketing. For more information, visit us at Regent College along Kwazi Road or the North Mid Campus at plot number 11 Luamba Road, Lusaka, or call us on 0955 787114 or 0966 787114 or 0977 787114. Fairview University College. We aim at excellence.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. The Livingstone Green Initiative says access to water for people in rural is a key in enhancing citizens' health and improved agriculture activities. Speaking in an interview, LGI Project Manager Andrew Kabwe notes accessing clean and safe water in rural areas still remains a challenge, hence the need for stakeholders to come on board. Mr. Kabwe is of the view that when people are given adequate water, economic activities such as agriculture can be initiated, thereby improving their livelihoods. He was speaking in Mukuni village when Livingstone Green Initiative was sinking a water borehole for locals.
Our project to do the road was underplayed as a way of corruption. Roads were being done. If you look at Lusaka, I move around here. I see all these people are saying that no corruption. If you look at even University of Levi Manawasa University, that is massive infrastructure.
Parliament Emmanuel Tembo has charged the New Dawn government should come up with means of turning around the economy of the country, unlike depending on the International Monetary Fund, IMF, for relief. Mr. Tembo says the biggest mistake the New Dawn has done to allege to park all its developmental ideas while waiting for miracles from the IMF, which he says is not the key to transforming the country. Meanwhile, Mr. Tembo, who is among the 30 PF members of Parliament serving a 30-day suspension for misconduct, says he does not regret having been punished for doing what is right by protecting the Constitution.
Our projects to do the roads, was underplayed as a way of corruption. Roads were being done. If you look at Lusaka, I move around here. I see all these people are saying that no corruption. If you look at even University of Levi Manawasa University, that is massive infrastructure, which I said, oh, all this. But you see, so the corruption, that the way it was portrayed was that whatever PF did was corrupt. Okay, so anyway, what I'm saying, the major problem, in my view, was this issue of cadalism. And I hated it, and we still hate it. And right now, that is the issue that PF has dealt with and eradicated. And I think that you can see even the appointments. We are trying to create a new face, a new PF. And indeed, for us, I think that what we have done for this country, borrowing from the way Arabi led his life, we're looking at the positive, because there are a lot of positive things we did. We need to move and, reunite this country, as well as, continue developing where we left.
What gives you confidence, Honorable Tembo, that let's say come 2026, Zambians will once again remember the Patriotic Front, looking at all these things that we've talked about, the issues to do with the cadalism that you've talked about it yourself, as also the corruption allegations, among other things, lawlessness.
Yeah.
What do you think Zambians will come back to the Patriotic Front and elect you, go back in office?
Even before you talking about today, if we held elections today, UPND cannot win those elections. One, the first thing is that after forming government, clearly they did not have a plan on how they want to move Zambia to the next level. Every successful government from independence, even the colonial government, they had planned. Kaunda, there's something that he did. Even in MMD, there was something that MMD focused on. If you look at even President Bada, there was a niche that he had. If you look at the UPND, they are touching here and there. 5 years would have ended without having achieved anything. Even the corruption they talk about, there's nothing that's happening. They talk about this court, that, there's nothing we are seeing. What we need right now, for us, I just explained that, we wanted to build a very firm and strong infrastructure around the country, which to a large degree we achieved, and we did not finish. And we want to move this country, after building the infrastructure, now to start going into clear economic activities. Each district, each province, what is the potential on this side? What is the potential on the other side? How do Zambians get involved? And we have learned our lessons. You see, once bitten, twice shy. So, issues of, because cadres are always there. Our friends are saying this, but cadres are always doing whatever. So, it's a firm hand that is needed. That is one thing that, so we have learned our lessons. And clearly, we cannot have a government where when you lose power, then you say, no, this party should not come back. Then who should come and rule? Someone with no experience, because we need to have a system where political parties must come out, rule, come outside, they learn the lesson, come back. So, and that's when this country will move forward. If we have every time a new party coming and so on, those who want, they should join either the 2 or 3 major parties. Which parties must, this one rule, it goes out, it changes its leadership, and you can see that even the leadership that we have, slowly we have new minds, we have fresh blood and so on, who want to pick up where our forefathers.
Special Hope Network, a non-government organization, has called on government to formulate policies that can help people with intellectual disabilities. Speaking to Muvi TV News in Lusaka, Special Network Director of Programs Dennis Kanyamula notes with concern for a long time, people with intellectual disabilities have not been valued or considered in the communities. He says it is important and people are taught about disabilities and also learn to embrace disability. He adds that people with disabilities are also human people who are created in the image of God, hence their rights must be respected.
Mebla zitalo nienda ku church so nizasiya mu nyumba na chitabwanji namangirira natimanje omwana nganda naye ku church azambo chita disturb bazali bantu bandi ku chitabwanji kupempera so bawena ngora kwambo nsako ati maybe nikulowe wanamulika ku business.
In many countries, people with disabilities remain the most excluded and hardest to reach of other groups in the communities. They are less likely to have access to healthcare and education, and in turn, finding, earning a living and lifting themselves out of poverty that much more difficult, if not impossible. In Zambia, many people do not know how they can take care or help people living with disabilities. It is for this reason, Special Hope Network embarked on a 1-month journey to educate people in different communities in Lusaka about disability so that they can also advocate for the right of the people with disabilities in their communities, with the aim that people with intellectual disabilities are valued and considered. On 21st March 2022, about 75 people in Lusaka's Ngombe compound graduated after going through a 1-month training about disability. And speaking to Muvi TV News in Lusaka, Special Hope Director of Programs Dennis Kanyamula notes with concern that people with intellectual disabilities have not been considered in their communities.
To make sure to say people with intellectual disabilities are valued, people with intellectual disabilities are considered as people, because we believe to say everyone is created in the image of God, and all of us, we are equal. There is no one who is better than the other, and there is no need for these people with children with disability to not be moving around or to be just locked in their houses when they also have the rights that others have. These children and parents have the right to go to school, they have the right to be at church, they have the right to socialize with others. But it's not been like that for a while, because
these people have not been considered in the community. That's why we embarked on these two projects.
Special Hope Head Manager under the Curriculum Department, Mlenga Mwelo, has this to say.
One of the challenges that I've seen currently is a lack of awareness. Because the first thing that people think of when you mention disabled, they'll just think about the people on wheelchairs. Not many people are aware about the different disabilities that we have in terms of intellectual disabilities like Down syndrome, autism, cerebral palsy, hydrocephalus. Not many people have the knowledge. So as Special Hope Network, we are trying to raise awareness specifically with intellectual disabilities because that's our niche area. We do realize, yes, that there are policies that have been set up for children with disabilities, but in specific, to say children with intellectual disabilities, not many people are aware and not many policies have been set up to render help to our parents and to render help to the community that we're targeting. So if the government can step in and formulate maybe policies and legislations that can help and aid. So with the expansion of the community outreach, we'll need more funding and more input from the government financially.
Margaret Chota, Muvi TV News in Lusaka.
Southern Province Permanent Secretary Dr. Namani Monze says the province is grappling with the challenge of less water availability for crop production due to climate change. Dr. Monza further notes that crop production has been hampered due to poor rainfall that should be supported by irrigation to ameliorate the situation that has affected production negatively. The Permanent Secretary was speaking when a team of Millennium Challenge Corporation within Zambia and Washington, D.C., United States of America, visited his office to consider a 5-year strategic plan for both the Ministries of Agriculture and Fisheries and Livestock. Dr. Monze said the environment supported by good governance will foster economic transformation through increased crop, fish, and livestock production. And Millennium Challenge Corporation MCC Country Director Steve Mama said MCC is funding projects that will help promote economic growth inclusive to gender and promote wide benefits. Mr. Mama further stated that MCC is looking for projects that will increase employment. Meanwhile, MCC Country Coordinator Pamela Bwalia says the mission was in Southern Province to develop a program to ensure poverty reduction and economic growth. The team from Washington, D.C., United States of America, comprised the MCC Department of Compacts Corporation Gender and Social Inclusion Associate Director Jaime Shabalina and MCC Department of Policy and Evaluation Economic Analysis Economist Mesbah Motamed.
Production is being hampered due to poor rainfall patterns. They can produce much more than they are producing now if they were supported, for example, with irrigation. And in terms of mechanization to start with, I think because of the tradition of this, we keep animals, so we are able to use them to plow. And so if there is water, even if they don't have tractors, they can still use the animals.
These projects promote economic growth and have an economic rate of return. These projects are inclusive to gender, to youth, to all sectors of society, and promote wide benefits. We know here also there's a large interest in increasing employment, and we want to support the government with that challenge.
We develop a program that will address the same issues that we are talking about, of addressing poverty reduction and ensuring that there is economic growth.
Break on that note, still to come as more news items. Do not go away.
Anyone can get lucky.
So here's how to pay using Airtel Money. Ensure your decoder is turned on and tuned to channel 1. Dial *778#, then select the option that says Make Payment. Select Pay TV, then select Muvi TV. Enter the 12-digit smart card number, then enter the amount you wish to pay. Enter the Muvi TV account number, omitting the dash before the last digit. Then select the amount you wish to pay.
For inquiries, call customer care on 0764 250055 or 0764 250052 or 0978 732 411 or 0978 732 412.
We are delighted to add Lubumbashi and Goma to our network. Welcome aboard Rwandair, Africa's safest airline that will connect you to more than 24 destinations throughout the network.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
Welcome back, and now the rest of the news. Chirundu District Commissioner Patrick Kasambila has reiterated his call to all public service workers to embrace hard work and renew their dedication to duty if the district is to attain sustainable development. And Chirundu Town Council Secretary Laura Mukanta has expressed concern with the increase of street vending activities in the central business district despite statutory instrument number 12 still being in force. Meanwhile, Chirundu District Nursing Officer Esther Chisanga discloses the health office in the area will embark on a vigorous 5-day oral polio vaccination exercise targeting all under 5 children in the district. Mr. Kasambila says that President Hakainde Hichilema is in a hurry to deliver inclusive social and economic development to all Zambians, but needs the support of public service workers to help the new Dawn government to actualize his vision. He expressed gratitude that the district is on course in reviving hostile development projects and initiating new ones in order to better the welfare of Zambians, especially those in the outskirts of the district. The news reports Mr. Kasambila made this call during the weekly senior management meeting held at Chirundu Town Council Civic Center. And presenting a report on behalf of Chirundu Town Council Secretary Laura Mukanta, Deputy Council Secretary Tito Hampako says the council is concerned with increased street vending activities in the Central Business District CBD. Mr. Hampako says the local authority is in receipt of numerous public complaints from concerned residents on the increase of street vending activities and mushrooming of market shift stores in undesignated trading areas. And preliminary report by an ad hoc team tasked to audit stores in existing markets indicates that some traders have allegedly abandoned their slots and opted to trade on the streets that lack social amenities. Earlier, Chirundu District Nursing Officer Esther Chisanga disclosed the District Health Office will embark on a vigorous 5-day oral polio vaccination exercise starting on 24th of March 2022, targeting all under 5 children.
19 hours nkwaino tulipangana elo kuchashuka bonse tatwaikele mu sitting room twalifuma twali ku kitchen mkwai elo twawumfile fenomba chisaundi chaisalila kanshini motoka yapula pa chipunda yaisa ingila munganda tukulingana nobulayo bala isa twafwilisha batile balaisa bike pshimbi apo bantu mkwayi kulingana nepi achitike imieo nepi le chitika pe imieo ikalubila pa ikabe yingi
ine uba misizi yaudi bane baba bamayo pano panganda pachitike accident kwena tuwapapata ngobuteko ngama ifufwe bana benu twafweni kokutubikirako ama ifishimbi apa pa road bantu the first time accident yachitika po iyo yeino mukuyana number 3 ambiyoto kokupitiriro kuita panganda twapapa tata tuleko kupyo mwe wabamani mama yetu ali batemuisha sana toto wapapa tango kuteko twafweniko
tulekotera funa wonsa abantu abeshiro ko batibenda fundisha bamara baba making sure ati kubike barricade paria as local authority we are going to put a barricade to prevent the future accidents. So we are engaging the director engineering to come on board and see what they can do around this area so that we prevent the future occurrences of the similar nature. These drivers should also work according to directives, especially that there is also no one is supposed to be speeding when approaching this area, especially that it's a slopey area. There is a speed limit about 40, but these drivers, they are also driving at 60, 70, 80, which is...
A car has smashed into a house in Chongola's Changa North area Sunday night, leaving only half of the structure intact. Owner of the house, Bettina Chama, says the damage to her house was extensive despite no death being recorded. The driver of the vehicle is said to have fled the scene of the accident. Sakela Ward Councillor Richard Kabwe visited the house of the widow to assess the amount of help required. In sports news, Chipolo Polo coach Aljosa Asanovic has named 23 players for this week's trip to Turkey that will feature in 2 international friendly matches, starting with Congo-Brazzaville on Friday, March 25th. Asanovic has named 2 new players of Zambian descent out of the 14 foreign-based players called for the international assignments, with Israel-based striker Lamek Banda called for duty following the impressive display at Maccabi Petah Tikva. The 2 players are Scotland-based defender Frankie Musonda and his US-based counterpart Aim Mabika. The match against Congo and another yet-to-be-confirmed opponent is a part of Chipolo Polo's preparations for the African Nations Champion CHAN qualifiers and the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers to be held in June. The Chipolo Polo leave for Antalya, Turkey on Tuesday. So far, 4 foreign-based players have joined camp in Lusaka ahead of departure. The quartet are Cletus Chama, Gampani Lungu, Klings Kangwa, and Evans Kangwa. England-based Patson Daka will be unavailable due to a family commitment, while Advertisements is ill. South Africa-based Augustin Malinga is injured after limping off in Amazulu's CAF Champions League match on Friday that his side lost 2-0. The named players are as follows: goalkeepers Charles Kalumba, Red Arrows; Lawrence Mulenga, Power Dynamos; Tostan Sabata, Sekukune United, RSA; defenders Frankie Musonda, Raith Rovers, Scotland; Aim Mabika, Inter Miami, CF, USA; Benedict Chipeshi, Prospachilufia, both Red Arrows; Shemi Mayembe, Zeska United; Miguel Chaiwa, Samuel Academy; Dominic Chanda, Kabe Warriors, Tandimwape, TP Mazembe, DR Congo; midfielders Klings Gangwa, Asenatula, Russia; Enoch Mwepu, Brighton and Hove Albion, England; Lubambo Musonde, Hossens, Denmark; Prince Mumba, Kabe Warriors; Emmanuel Banda, Sweden; Roderick Kabwe, Sekukuna United, RSA; Cletus Chota Tama, Simba SC, Tanzania; Kelvin Kapambe, Zaska United, Strikers of Fashion Sakala Rangers Scotland, Gapani Lungu, Sport United RSA, Lamek Bandebi Peta Tikval, Ivan Skangwa Asanatula, Russia. It is according to information and posted on the father's Facebook page. We end the news on that note, a recap of the top stories. Lubinda formally arrested. Former PFSG mocks UPND government of failing to convict corrupt individuals. Chilangwa accuses ministers of indulging in excessive drinking using taxpayers' money. Economic Liberation Association calls on government to work on economic hardships. Inept Ministry of Labour awaits a Juba Transport report. And finally, Frankie Aim make a Cervix FIFA International Window marches. Thank you so much for watching the news. Continue to enjoy the rest of our programming.